All right, folks, what is going on? Back with another video, and I want to talk about this GameStop topic. I find this very interesting what the CEO said about physical games, and I think this is something that is possibly cause for debate, or it may be something that he's just saying just to say, trying to save face. I don't know what's going on here, but look, we're going to talk about this, give my thoughts and opinions. I did not read this article yet. I just saw the title and I just want to get my instant reaction on it. So let's talk about this. GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen insists Sony killing physical discs doesn't matter at all because of because video game sales make up so little of his business. Now, I remember at one point that it was a thing that GameStop was actually wanting you to buy the used copies of these games, and they wanted you to buy the used copies of these games because they basically make all the money off that used copy. They don't want you to buy the new copy because they have to give a cut to whoever the publisher is or even the developer. When it's used, they get all the money. So this is really interesting to me. So let's look at this and see what he's talking about. GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen has sparked a fiery debate about in the gaming community after remarking that sales of physical games are totally irrelevant to his business. Wow, that's crazy. Cohen made a divisive statement in a July 16 interview with Bloomberg TV after asked how GameStop could be impacted by Sony's industry-changing decision to stop printing physical discs for new PlayStation games starting in 2028. Now, I didn't even think about this. As much as I like going to GameStop and other brick and mortar stores, it just never crossed my mind how GameStop or Walmart or whatever, whoever else who sells physical games be affected. I just never thought about it, but obviously it's going to be an issue. But for him, he argued that the bulk of GameStop income hinges on sales of collectibles rather than gaming software, insisting that the games themselves are chump change compared to the figures, merch, and trading cards GameStop is currently focused on putting in stores. Now, when it comes to the trading card stuff, he may have a point with that. I can see them making money off the trading cards because we just did a video about Pokemon and how people are stealing these things. I mean, it's crazy. So that might be somewhat of a point for him, but I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. He told the outlet software. It mattered in the past. Software today makes up less than 12% of the business, and collectibles make up over half of the business. So it's totally irrelevant. Now, I'm going to say this. If that's the case, then we got a bigger issue when it comes to physical games and how popular we may think they are. Now, I'm a person, I love buying physical games. I got a pickup video coming up very soon. Me and my son's going to do one because we still pick up physical games. But I do look at it from a standpoint where, is this really true? Only 12% of the business, which I still think 12% is a lot, but 12% of the business, that's a pretty big deal. If that's the case, that it may not be that big of a deal to them. The collectibles make up more than half the business, so people are just buying toys and collectibles and Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever other cards they sell. That's really interesting. He also goes on to say GameStop is a business that was on the brink of bankruptcy and everybody was betting against it for good reason, Cohen said earlier in the interview. Now the company is making more money than it's ever made in history. That's really interesting. I didn't know that, but I stopped following GameStop, numbers for a while. So, but there was one point people saying that they were on the verge of bankruptcy. It was a thing at one point. When asked about potential for Rockstar high anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6 to bring business for GameStop, Cohen completely ignored the question, choosing instead to discuss his failed $55.5 billion bid for eBay back in May. I don't know why you want to talk about that. I mean, whatever. All right, let's keep going. I want you to look to your viewers in the eyes and tell them, are you going to bet on an entrenched management team running the business or me, someone head-to-head against it? I don't want to get in all that. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm going to skip that. Let's say at the beginning of 2025, GameStop had around 2,325 locations in the U.S., but by the end of the year, it closed 590 of them. It kicked off 2026 by closing even more stores as part of the effort to reduce costs. But see, this is the thing. So what is it? Are you making money because of the collectibles in cards, or you having trouble, so you have to close stores to cut cost. I mean, what are we doing here? I don't know what GameStop is right now. They're a little bit schizophrenic, going back and forth with, oh, we don't need physical stuff. We're making a lot of money, but they're doing this as well. For years now, some have called GameStop a non-brick and mortars retailer as it looked to new and often bizarre ways to generate revenue. In 2023, they talked about crypto, doing NFTs, all this other. Yeah, I'm not getting at all that, but yeah, nevertheless, this is really interesting. I don't know if he's telling the truth. I don't know what's going on here, but I will say this: if this is the case, maybe we got a bigger issue with physical games than we thought. Maybe they're not that profitable. I don't know. Because we only can take what they say, right? The only thing I know from my own eyes, every time I go to these stores are packed. People are still buying games. I do see that. Especially when you go to the mom and pop brick and mortar stores. People are still buying these games. Me and my son just went to a store not too long ago, and people are all over the place walking through the stores. I mean, it is not a GameStop, but it was like a mom and pop shop. People are really buying these games. Now, don't get me wrong, they are buying collectibles as well. But I think that store is just a better presentation than GameStop was. Is more, customer friendly, I would say. So I mean, the market is still out there for people who want to buy these physical games. But at the same time, if these numbers are true, maybe we have a bigger discussion to talk about. I don't know. I hope these physical games stay around forever. They're always talking about, I mean, they're already talking about that Xbox is possibly going to have a disc drive. That's going to be interesting, but I don't know. I'm just a little back and forth with this because at the end of the day, I'm kind of on the fence on, just physical games in general because of the fact that not necessarily on the fence of them, but just basically purchasing them because uh when I look at my collection, I have a lot of physical games. I don't know if I'm gonna be buying more as far as the PS6 or the next Xbox goes. I was thinking about going all digital already with that. So I don't know. I'm a little back and forth with it. It's kind of crazy, but nevertheless, let me know what you guys think. You think this has any credence? You think it has any weight to it? What the CEO was saying, or he just saying stuff just to try to save face? Because at the end of the day, I think that this would be detrimental to GameStop. That's just me. This would be detrimental to any brick and mortar to have this issue going on, and they won't have new inventory for the PlayStation 6. I mean, the collectibles and stuff only get you so far, right? But yeah, with that being said, you guys let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.